Hey everyone, welcome to chapter 3 as we start getting into graphing lines and slope of the lines. The first thing that we are going to start with is how to draw a line when you are given the intercepts. Well, here the x-intercept is 2, the y-intercept is 5. What we have to do, the x-intercept, remember, here is our x-axis. Our x-intercept is 2, so we put a dot on 2, and then the y-intercept goes on the y-axis, which runs up and down. Here's the y, so we go up 5, put a point on 5, and now we're asked to draw a line. So now all we have to do is connect the dots with the line, and there we go. Moving on, now we are asked to find the x and y intercepts on the table, and then we graph them. Well, I'm going to start off with this table in blue, so I'm going to graph this line in blue. Now, these are all points on the line. If we go back to our first example, on my x-axis, what was y? Y was 0. So, let's find where y is 0. Well, here's y is 0, and that is going to be my x-intercept. My x-intercept is -2, so I'm going to put a point on -2. Well, let's go back again. What is my y-intercept? My y-intercept is 0 for x and 5 for y. And so let's find a 0 for x. We found a 0 for x and a 2 for y. So my y-intercept is 2. So let's go up 2, put a point. Now let's go ahead and connect those lines. And let's go ahead, or connect the dots, go ahead and draw the line. And there's our line. So, I'll give you a little hint. 0 on the y will give you the x-intercept. Alright, so shorten it up. 0 on y gives you x. Then 0 on the x gives you y. So let's try it. Now I'm going to do the next one here in red. So let's use our cheat sheet. 0 on y gives you x. So where's 0 on y? 0 is right here. So what did I just find? X is 2. So let's go ahead and plot that. X is 2. We're on the same point as we used before. And then 0 on x gives you y. So 0 on x gives me y. So y now equals 1. Put another point. These lines are fairly close to each other. And so we've been going up 1 over 2. We draw our line, and there are the two lines. Now we are asked to graph the equations using the x and y intercepts. Well, as you can tell, we obviously don't have the x and y intercepts right now, but we can find those. Again, if we go back to our cheat sheet, as I bring it up here, 0 on y gives you x. So, moving forward, if I put 0 in for y, it's going to give me my x. Well, x equals nothing here, but what if I added x to this side and to that side? So now I have x on the other side of my number, so now x equals 2. Did I just find my x-intercept? Absolutely. X-intercept is 2. Now, it's not always going to be 2. It just happened to always be 2 in these examples. Now, since I have my x-intercept, why not do the same thing, just opposite, for the y-intercept? Now, to find my y-intercept, I'm going to put 0 in for x. And then solve for y. Y equals 2. So again, I go up 2 on the y, put a point. Then you can connect the dots, like so. And so there's our graph. Now, what's it look like on 4? 4 looks a little bit different. Well, if I want to solve for my x, I'm going to put 0 in for y. If I want to find my x-intercept, I'm going to put 0 in for y. 0 right in there. So we have 2x minus 3 times 0 equals 6. Then simplify. 2x equals 6. We are solving for x now. Divide by 2. Divide by 2, so x equals 3. So our x-intercept is 3. Now, do the same thing for y. Now I have to put 0 in for x, so it's 2 times 0 minus 3y equals 6. Solve for y. Negative 3y equals 6 because 2 times 0 is 0. Anything times 0 is 0. Divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. So y equals negative 2. So let's put these on the graph. X is 3, so I put my x on 3. My y is negative 2, so on my y axis that runs up and down, I go to negative 2. Then I pick out my blue line and go ahead and connect the dots for the line. Now we're asked to find the root of the equation. Well, the root of the equation isn't bad. It's just like solving for the variable. So here we have 0 equals 4x minus 24. So we're asked to find the root. All you have to do is solve the equation for the variable. How do we go about this? Well, we're solving for x. So we add 24 to both sides because we want to get x all by itself. Bring down the 4x equals 24. Divide by 4 on both sides. X equals 6. Next, now this is very important. Rate of change is the slope. The slope is known as your m. And for our slope, we can find our slope using this guy right here. Make sure you write that down. This is very important. Now this is a y sub 2 minus y sub 1. And that's all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. All that is, guys, is notation. Just make sure that it's y minus y on top, x minus x on the bottom, and I'll explain that notation here in a little bit. So first we have to find the slope of the line. How we go about this? You have to find a couple points on the line. So I'm going to pick this point here, which is point -1, and that's up 3. And then I'm also going to pick that point, which is 1, -1. Now, which points are my x and y? X goes before y. X, y, just like in alphabetical order. Now, from my formula, my y's go first. So I'm going to take this y first. So it's 3, and then minus my other y, so it's -1. Over, now my x's. It's -1 minus 1 from here. So we simplify, minus a negative, and remember, turns into one big plus. So it's 4 over a -2. Now can we simplify this? 4 divided by -2 is -2. Remember that slope is a fraction, so this is down 2, then over 1, right? This is always over 1. If you just want to leave it as -2, I'm completely fine with that, but just know for your run it would be 1 if it is a whole number. Now, to get back to the notation, notice that we picked this point first for y. We also, if you pick this point first, you also have to pick the x from the same point to go first. So we have 3 first here, then we have to go back to that same point for -1. And then we can just fill in after that, then this point would come next. Now we simplified. Now if you want to do it that way, that is great. There's also a little bit different way we can do it. You can also count. We picked 2 points, correct? Well, it's rise over run. Rise over run, that would also be another good thing to put down in your notes. So let's go ahead and count these black points. How many did we go down first? We went down 1, 2, 3, 4. So we were down 4, and then over 1, 2. So we went over to the right 2 to get a -2 again. Our slopes match. Either way is fine. It's all up to you. Also, I do want to point out a positive slope goes up from left to right, just like you read. A negative slope goes down from left to right. Since this is going down from left to right, it is a negative slope. Now let's find the rate of change in a table. Well, we can treat the table just like the graph. The only thing is that we have to find points, right? So these are points on the table that I am going to use. So I'm going to use point 2, negative 1, and I'm going to use 0.54. Please remember, it goes x, y, x, y. So let's try it out. From our formula, I'm going to use this point first, so it's negative 1 minus y. So I'm going to use minus 4 over, now since I picked this y first, I have to go back to this point. So it's 2 minus 5. And then negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Uh-oh, what happened here? We have, oh, I missed that negative, but we have two negatives. So two negatives make a positive, so it is a positive 5/3 for slope. That is your m, that is your rate of change, that is your rise over run. Let's try two more examples here before you get to your assignment. Again, now we're just given 2 points, and we're asked to find the slope of the line that passes through each of these points. Well, again, we have x, y, x, y. Using our equation, I'm using this point first, so I have 5 minus 1 over, go back to this same point, 6 minus 3, simplify, 4 over 3, positive, so our slope is 4/3, our m is 4/3, our rate of change is 4/3. Now, would we have got 4/3 if I used this point first? If I switched up my points, if I did it a different way, would I still get 4/3? Well, let's try it out. We go 1 minus, now I'm using this point first, 1 minus 5 over 3, I have to go back to that 3, minus 6. We subtract, we get 1 minus 5 is negative 4 over 3 minus 6, which is negative 3. Uh-oh, now we have two negatives, but wait, there are two negatives which make a positive, so it is still 4/3. 8, let's try one more. Hang in, you're doing great. Again, x, y. If it helps you putting an x, y, put an x, y. I'm going to pick this point first, so it's 0 minus, that point second, 2 over, I have to go back to that same point that I picked, so I'm picking 8 minus 4. We have negative 2 on top, we have 4 on the bottom, negative 2 over 4, which is great. Can we simplify that all? We can take a 2 out of the top and the bottom to simplify to 1/2, so our slope is negative 1/2. And that does it for the start of chapter 3. Have a great rest of your day.